everyone! Hope you're having an amazing day. It's Code Karen. Welcome to Reddit Stories, where we have 2 incredible stories with comments. If you are new to this channel, a sub would be great. Tap that notification bell. Let's jump right in. Our first story is from Our Relationships. I kicked out my pregnant cheating girlfriend because she got caught. It's called karma, baby. A bit about us before I start in on this story. My girlfriend and I are both in our 30s and just moved to a new city a few months ago because I was offered a much higher paying job. It's a plus that it's near my brother, and it's a nice area to raise a child. My girlfriend is currently 7 months pregnant with what I thought was my child, but I'll get to that shortly. When she first told me about the pregnancy, I was shocked because we talked a lot about waiting until we were more prepared to start a family. But once it sunk in, I was ecstatic. Recently, she's been acting odd and very distant with her one-syllable answers. I just chalked that up to pregnancy hormones. One morning, I asked her what was up with the attitude, and she snapped back with, "I don't always have to answer to you," and walked away. I was late for work, so I figured we'd pick up the conversation later. When I got to work, the lady that handles insurance claims at my office called me to tell me she approved a genetic testing request from my girlfriend's obstetrician's office. News to me about the test, but I didn't think much of it. I got a text around lunchtime asking me if I could leave work early because there was something very important my girlfriend wanted to talk about. Given that she is so hypersensitive, I didn't even want to ask her what it was all about. So, I got the okay from the boss and left about 2 hours early. To cut a long story short, she told me that when we lived at our old place and I was working 15-hour days on a major project, she met a guy during a night out with some work friends. One thing led to another, and they ended up sleeping together. She rationalized it by saying that she was lonely and I was working a lot and not spending time with her, blah, blah, blah. Newsflash, I was doing this to save up as much money as I could so we could buy a house. She gave me some other really lame excuses, but I wasn't listening at that point. I can't describe how angry I felt after she told me. I got up and left the house to go for a drive so I could calm down. I knew I would explode if I went home, so I ended up sleeping in my car. I returned home the next morning and demanded we book an appointment for a prenatal paternity test. She didn't put up much of a fight, which surprised me. Just then, the light bulb went off. She only told me about the cheating because she knew she was going to get caught and I was going to find out. This new trial DNA genetic testing that the doctor ordered also tested for paternity. It was all adding up. But there may still be a chance that I was the father, so I booked an appointment and moved my things to the guest room, which we were setting up to be the nursery. On the day of the testing, I had to listen to her crying and apologizing, but I was done with her at this point. It made me sick to look at her, but if she was carrying my baby, I wanted to remain calm. Well, we got the results back today, and guess what? It turns out I am, drumroll, not the father. My heart sank, but I kind of prepared myself for the results. I told her to start packing because I wanted her out before I got back from work. She became hysterical and said that I couldn't just leave her alone and homeless while she was so close to the due date and so far away from her family. She pulled out all the stops and said that she really loved me and wanted me to raise this child. From another man, may I add, because it's the only way the child will have a decent life. I make very good money in my new job and just got a promotion. Can we say meal ticket? I repeated what I had just said to her about packing her things and left the house. I didn't want to show her, but I was devastated. I had just gotten my life in order. Everything was stable and ready to go for the baby. We even finished painting the baby's room. I switched my phone back on and saw I had several missed calls and voicemails, a few from her, some from her family, and a couple from my brother telling me to call him as soon as I could. I called my brother, filled him in, and made plans to go over to his house. He lives about an hour away. And that's what's happened so far. I haven't gone back to the house yet. I just can't bring myself to go back there knowing that all the plans I had for my child are gone. I have no idea what to do anymore. What should I do, Reddit? Let's head to the comments. Fandet88 says, on one hand, she is 100% in the wrong. On the other hand, I wouldn't kick out someone 7 months pregnant, even if she was my absolute worst enemy. If that's not an option for you, then buy her a plane ticket to her parents and see her off safely. Ice0Berg says, dude, don't cave. You did the right thing. She waited too long to reveal this. And what a plot twist. She was backed into a corner and had to tell you about sleeping with the other guy. Karma for sure. I do feel awful for the child. If you can forgive her, you could still help the child out in the beginning for the sake of the child, but give nothing to her. She can go back to her family. I don't understand how people can say they love someone and do something like this. You were working overtime to support her. Good God, I am so sorry for you, man. That guy Miles says, whatever you do, do not let her and her family guilt trip you into supporting her and this child. I can already see it now. They are probably more mad at you for abandoning her in her time of need than the fact that she cheated on you with some loser and got caught in her betrayal. She obviously didn't care about you or the relationship because she was too busy flirting with other men. It's going to be rough though, even though you know you are 100% in the right. When stuff like this happens, you get portrayed as the bad guy for abandoning a pregnant woman when she needs you the most. I think she wanted your money the most. You better believe that her family and her friends are going to be hounding you and probably bad-mouthing you behind your back. It's unbelievable that people can't just take responsibility for their own actions, or that the people around them don't hold them accountable. Quick update. I've gotten non-stop calls from her family asking me if I'm out of my mind and how cold-hearted I am to leave her pregnant and desolate. I hung up on all of them and turned my phone off. I'm just going to move forward. I might make a proper update later and turn my phone back on. I know I have to go home to an empty space, but I guess it was empty all this time. Living a lie with a pregnant, cheating girlfriend. What a chump I've been this entire time. Talk about a stone-cold manipulator. She was trying to get a jump on the paternity narrative because she knew I would find out eventually from the genetic test results. I've been so stupid. Our second story is from Am I the Idiot? My stepdad wants me to end my relationship with my real dad, so I moved away. My stepdad moved in with us when I was 14, 3 years after my parents separated. He seemed like a genuinely nice guy who made my mom happy, so I was willing to build a relationship with him at first. But over time, he began to control everything I did. He always wanted me to call him Dad, and when I told him I wasn't comfortable with that, he became even more insistent and more controlling. The thing is, I have a great relationship with my real dad. I see him almost every weekend, and I didn't want to call someone I'd known for less than a year Dad when my real dad was still very much involved in my life. Things only got worse as time went on. My stepdad called me ungrateful and told me I should at least give him a chance to be my dad because he looked after me much more than my real father ever did. Well, that statement sealed the deal. I was done trying to build a relationship with him. I was more than happy to accept him into my life, just not as a substitute dad. My stepdad also talked non-stop about wanting to adopt me. In a way, I understand that he wanted to view me as his daughter. He'd never had children of his own, and part of me found it sweet, but he wouldn't let up. Even my mom told him that adoption wasn't a possibility. My dad would have had to terminate his rights, and everyone knew that wasn't going to happen. Over time, in a very twisted way of punishing me for not calling him dad, he sabotaged everything about my life. My art classes, my friends, after-school sports. Every time I tried to do anything with others, he would come and drag me away to do chores or some stupid family bonding activity. About a year ago, I had enough and moved out because I couldn't take it anymore. I moved in with my dad, 2 hours away. Here's where I need some advice. It's my 17th birthday in a month, and my mom wants to bring my stepdad to my dad's house for the party. The thing is, I don't want him there. We have no relationship whatsoever. I explained this to her and am now being told that it's unfair and selfish of me to exclude him. I feel guilty because he's not a bad man, but I just can't stand him. Am I the idiot for not wanting anything to do with my stepdad? I love my mom and she loves him, but I don't want him anywhere near me. Am I making a big deal out of a little visit? Or am I protecting myself from this controlling, judgmental jerk? Let's head to the comments. Lovely Strife says, not the idiot. I wouldn't invite your stepdad either. He has serious boundary issues, and your mom is enabling him. Honestly, if she allowed your stepdad to create those draconian rules and enforce them, she is just as much of a problem as he is. She isn't setting healthy boundaries or helping you keep healthy boundaries with this new adult in your life. She should have had a serious talk with him and made him back off with his demands. But instead, she chose to be a passive bystander. This was never fair to you, her own child. She is choosing him, and I hope that one day she understands that it is her choices that are driving your relationship apart, not anything you have done. I'm sorry you're dealing with all of this. You deserve better from your mom and stepdad. Belle's book says, not the idiot. This guy makes you uncomfortable with his never-ending requests to be called dad. He tried to sabotage your happiness and academic life with ridiculous rules to make you miserable after you said no. If you don't invite him, you will have a stress-free birthday. Your mother may or may not get over it, but in my opinion, that is her problem. Why wasn't she protecting you when your stepdad was being a total jerk? I personally think if you invite him to this birthday, you will be pressured into inviting him for all future events, be it birthdays, graduation, or a wedding, because you'll be seen as having set a precedent, and your mom will think you're okay with it. Little Mouse 99 says, not the idiot. I come from a big blended family, and never has my stepdad tried to replace my dad or overstep the boundaries that my sisters and I set, and my mom did the same for his kids. They both made it very clear that they would help any of us, bio or step, with anything we needed, but it was up to us to set the relationship boundaries. Your stepdad sounds like a jerk, and you should not feel obligated at all to invite him. A Jacqueline says, the idiot. For this reason. The thing is, if you don't let him come, it might make having a relationship with your mom more difficult. You've already moved out, which I'm sure your mom must be upset about, and a disinvite might send the message that you don't support her decision to marry this man, a man she deeply loves. So it might be worth letting him come for your mother's sake. Ultimately, you decide the guest list, but it would mean so much to your mom to celebrate your birthday with you. In life, sometimes we have to make exceptions for those that we love. Hey Code Karen community, what would you do in this situation? I'd love to hear your comments. See you in the next story.